Right, who can hear me? Give me a little message if you can hear me. Yeah, brilliant. Right. So yeah, I tried to reposition the camera. It's a little bit. In fact, I need to tighten that up now. I blue tacking it to the side, and as you saw, it just kind of went off its own little tandem there. Um, Stuck watching it a little bit blurry for now. I will see if I can get it a little bit better. Sometimes moving it back is a little bit better. I've just cleaned the glass as well. I always clean the glass before I do a live stream or anything. I'm not shouting. If I was shouting, I'd break your speaker. Um, Quite a nice little horde of ants out there. Anyways, right, so let's crack on. So Ants Hood is here. It's absolutely amazing to see Ants Hood. Thank you for joining us, buddy. Um, we're all basically in awe of your video that you released regarding the AC situation. And I'm just going to come out and say it. I completely support you and the aesthetic ants hashtag we do not approve. Um, I'm really quite disappointed with AC. I know he's been going that way for quite a while. I mean, as you said, it's more about views and clickbait with him at the moment, but it's getting worse and worse. I've stopped watching quite a few months back as well. So it's actually going to be. I'm actually going to have to move back towards him to watch these ones just to see what everyone's actually on about. On that note, I haven't actually watched the two videos yet, last week or this week's. I wanted to do a genuine reaction video for them. Hi Wakushi, hi Paul, hi everyone else for joining in. Yeah, I want to do a proper reaction video on his two releases. So I haven't actually watched them yet. I'm going to watch them tonight when I've got time to actually do a proper review video, and I can show you how I actually feel about these. And I'm not going to do the support video until I've watched the videos properly because I don't feel that's fair. Record your face. Yeah, I will record my face, so don't worry about that. I've already got the studio set up around me. Um, Pretty much I just ran out of time before doing this live stream. I was hoping to get to the computer at like 7 o'clock, but I didn't get to it till like half 8. It is a real shame about AC because he brings in so many ant keepers to the hobby. Basically, he brings in so many people, and the real big shame of it is like he brings them in, shows them his amazing nests, and tries to sell them his amazing nests and how easy it is, and that you can have these massive ant colonies and these massive tanks, which yes, I have got, and you're looking at right now. But it's not just as straightforward as that, you know. And then really, what he does is he brings people in and he's leaving them high and dry, like which really is good for me and Hood and the Colonialist and Antscapes and all these other ant YouTubers because we've been there to fill that gap and really support the community that he's helping to build. But then he just ignores the community. It's a real shame. Yeah, Paul. I mean, he got probably about 90% of ant keepers today into the hobby. I can happily say I've been keeping ants since I think before Ants Canada even released videos. So I'm quite happy I got into it another way. But you know what I mean? It's like everyone watches Ants Canada at some point, thinks it's amazing. And quite frankly, his earlier videos are amazing. And like the quality of his videos are amazing. But if the content has really gone downhill and it's really not what I want to see as a genuine ant keeper. Um, I panic if I start seeing ants fighting. As you know, I had the Murano Plus in this tank with the dives at some point, like when we first put it together, and I saw them starting a fight, and I saw that the dives were able to kill the Murano Plus. So at 2 in the morning, I couldn't sleep. I got into the tank with my hands, and I dug out the Murano Plus, found a queen. She was nice and healthy. I found hundreds of the workers, and I spent the next couple of days saving every single last worker that I could see in the tank, because I cannot stand to put something like that, you know what I mean, to put them in there just to be killed because of my fault and my decision. I don't think that's right. So I got that out. And for Ants Canada to now, like I said, I haven't actually fully watched the videos. I know what's going on and what they're about, but I haven't actually watched them. But for him to actually put colonies together, Camponotus as well, as we know, Camponotus, very few species of Camponotus are like polygamous at all. You've got your Nicobarensis, you've got a couple more, but genuinely, Camponotus don't have multiple queens. So why he even thought that it would work, like he obviously knew it wasn't going to work. Like Ants Hood said in his video, he knew it wasn't going to work. He knew there was going to be a big ant war, but he probably also knew that there's lots of other ant YouTubers doing that sort of thing at the minute, and it's getting the views. And it's a real shame that that's the sort of thing that's getting the views. Um, yeah, I've seen a few other ant YouTubers, and I've actually stopped watching them. I've unsubscribed and I've even blocked a few because all they're interested in is getting those views. I've seen one where there's been like spiders thrown into the nest, a scorpion thrown right on top of the nest, not even in like the outworld section, actually on top of the nest. So it like worked its way into the nest, and the ants were going mad, and it wasn't great for the colony at all. You know, it's not great for the colony. It's not great for the prey insect. It's just not great. The only thing it's great for is getting views of people which probably don't actually keep ants. And if they did keep ants, I'm quite disappointed that they'd be enthusiastic to see these sorts of things, because it's not what we do to our pets. As someone said earlier, you won't do it to your dog. You know, you wouldn't get one dog and another angry dog, put the two cages next to each other and let them have a little cage fight. It's just not the done thing. So why is it okay to do it with ants? They're still live beings, you know. And in fact, I think ants are probably more intelligent than some of the dogs I've met. But that's digressing completely, and we won't go into that. Hello, Happy Ant UK. So that's my little rant over. Like I say, I'm going to do a full review video on both last week and this week. They're going to come out tomorrow. I'm also going to do my support video in support of Ants Hood and Aesthetic Ants, hashtag we do not approve. I've also got other few things going on in the works as well, but that's irrelevant to the situation. So I'm just going to have a quick flick through the comments. It is a shame about the camera being so awful, because as you can see, there are ants absolutely everywhere on this cockroach, or cockroaches. It's very, very cool. I love watching this tank.
What time are you going to be done?
Okay, I'm back for a little bit more chatting now. Now I've read all the comments and caught myself up a little bit. This is a warning. I will be ending the live stream at 10 o'clock just because I've got a million other videos I want to do and I'm busy pretty much all night until I get up for work at 5:30. Yeah, avoid legal trouble. See, I've done my research on it, right? With the fair use policies, as long as I don't show huge amounts of the video, or basically the start and end credits, I should be fine as long as I'm just showing little sections of the video. It should fall under the fair use policies. And if he really wants to get, like, if anyone that I do the videos of, because I'm definitely going to be doing Hood, I'm definitely going to be doing the Colonialist, Antscapes, all you ant tubers, all the terrarium and build tubers, whatever you want to call them, everyone's going to get a review at some point. So if anyone wants to sue me, they're more than welcome to try. I've got absolutely nothing worth having, nothing worth suing me for, so you can sue me for my debts and other stuff instead. That's absolutely fine. And on that note as well, I'm trying to make it so. So I sent Antscapes a copy of his video before I released it. Me and Antscapes, Ryan, we're actually good friends, so I just sent him a quick copy of the video before I released it. I'll be doing that with Hood and the Colonialist and anyone else that I do a review video of, just to make sure they're happy before it goes up and it's not too brutal. Even though I will probably post it anyways, even if they say, oh no, please don't. Right, so if Ants Canada wants to get in contact with me over the video that I'm going to send to him in an email, he's more than welcome to. I've sent him countless emails and messages over the last 8 months, so he's more than welcome to get in contact if this one touches his buttons and he wants to. I mean, it would be amazing if he did get in contact, because it would finally give us that opening to talk to him and say, what's going on, man? Why are you doing these things? Maybe he could even help us a little bit in the ant community that he's helped build. I don't know. It might be a really good way. I welcome all videos about me, and it's your opinion. Exactly, Hood. Exactly. I will still be sending you the video just to make sure that you're happy with it. But like I say, it's my opinion, and if I want to post something, then I'm going to post it, basically. And as anyone knows on my server, I don't stand for no rubbish from no one. We may not stop watching. Yeah, to be honest, I doubt we'll ever stop watching. He's just going to get progressively worse, I think. But I have noticed in the last 2 or 3 months, his view rating is dropping. So maybe he's having this effect on a much larger community. I mean, this is just a small community that I outreach to, and I'm sure there's thousands, if not millions, of ant YouTubers. Ants England, I will definitely. I'm sure there's hundreds and thousands of ant keepers and ant YouTubers all around the world, which are probably having the same discussion that he's gone completely mental, basically. His latest video got almost 1 million views. See, that sucks. Maybe 100 views if I. And for something like that to get over 1 million, it's just ridiculous, like I say. But hopefully we can have this slowing effect. He'll realise he's doing wrong, and maybe he'll change the sorts of things he's filming. I mean, he's got a whole production crew there. One of them must clock on eventually that he's not doing great. But we shall see. I suppose the main problem with it all is the fact that he's still going to be gaining his massive income from it. Answered, you said you already know what he's earning roughly. I haven't got a clue. I haven't looked, although I probably should. But I know he's earning a lot of money, like a lot of money from ants. So fair play to him. And that's really the problem. He's going to keep doing what he's doing because he's exactly Lexi is putting money in his pocket. That's, to be honest, it seems like that's 180 grand a year from that channel alone. Whoa! If I could earn that, well, I don't think I'd ever get off the blimmin' recording button. You know what I mean? I'd just be constantly recording if I was earning that sort of money. Wow! I'd give up all my other work. I'd sit behind a computer, build myself a nice little office with a coffee machine, and I would not move. So I can completely understand where he's coming from, but to be honest, I just won't do it. But on the note of my channel, so Mondays from now on, we're going to be getting a review video out. So I'll be reviewing another YouTuber every Monday. That video will come out. Wednesdays videos and Sundays videos are not going to change. They're going to be about my general ant collection and other things that I keep. And then on Sundays, every Sunday, we're going to be doing this live stream. It's called The Picnic Table. I thought it would be kind of suitable because we all can get around the picnic table and have a little chat. And there'd probably be little ants stealing from our food at the same time. So he's got 3 channels, but not as much. Yeah, I didn't expect that other channels would generate much revenue compared to the Ants Canada channel. That's obviously where it's exploded out for him. But I have seen a few of his other channels, and he does put effort into them as well. So I expect he's earning off them a fair amount as well. I don't know. Either way, he gets attention. Yeah, exactly. Like that old saying goes, any publicity is good publicity, isn't it? Have you? Yeah, I have heard him singing. I have. I actually heard him singing before I saw any of his ant videos. Weirdly, one of his, I think it was the Michael Jackson parody or something. One of his videos got recommended to me before his Ants Canada videos. I don't know why. So yeah, every Sunday we'll be doing this live stream. It's called The Picnic Table. I'm going to be getting people on to do guest speakers. I'll be doing interviews with people. I'll be having general chats with people. I'll even have open mic nights. So if you're on my Discord, you can join in on the open mic chat thing, which will be broadcast live over the YouTube. So it just opens up this whole community a bit more to chat in regularly. Does it not break any cruelty rules on YouTube? I don't believe there is rules around that sort of thing, Dean. It's a bit of a touchy subject because you're right, you can't show graphic violence or anything like that, but then it's up to YouTube to decide that ants are sentient enough for them to be bothered about. If you know what I mean. I mean, there is some videos on YouTube which you'll see like crocodiles eating people and stuff, and it's like, well, you know, I suppose they look at every video individually. I know that I could actually have my review videos could get taken down because of their copyright policies. So it could be the same thing, but then you appeal it, and they have like an independent person who will look at it, review it for you, and quite normally post it back up if it does meet their standards. So that's probably the process that it would go through. But to be fair, Ants Canada being such a big name on YouTube that he is, and YouTube being moderated the way it is, he probably can get away with a few more things that I could because he's got his millions of views and stuff, and he's bringing people into YouTube, which in the long run gets them to view the adverts, which gets YouTube more money. So it's just a massive cycle until some other big ant YouTubers get up into the millions of views. I think we're going to end up with the same situation. Just going to say as well, Ants Hood, I can't remember what you were building. Battlestar or... No, I can't remember what it was you were building, but it looks really cool. Well done to you, buddy. That takes some absolute skill, effort, and a lot of patience, I know. I used to do the little Airfix models of Lancaster bombers and stuff like that, and it was awesome. So you're awesome. Well, Babylon 5, that's it. Well done. Yeah, absolutely awesome piece of work. I'd love to see a picture when it's absolutely completely finished. Because yeah, that's just pretty cool. I was really surprised by that. But then we all have other hobbies. I mean, myself, I spend most of my day in the gym. Oh yeah, send a video, Hood. Send a video, definitely. Yeah, I spend most of the day in the gym. Looks like Hood has quite a few different hobbies. I mean, we've all got different hobbies, but ants are starting to take over our lives. Definitely. Another note on my channel. Um, I'm thinking of getting a scorpion, a tropical forest scorpion, Asian tropical forest scorpion. It was either that or a couple of other things that I've looked at, but I'm thinking the scorpion is going to be the next addition to my channel. I know that's not an ant, like, but I don't know. I just wanted. I would get stung. Yeah, I'm probably going to get stung as well, but I'm not too worried. Like, as long as I don't die, I'm quite happy with getting stung, to be honest. I haven't been stung by the bullet ants yet. I'm a little bit iffy about that. Probably going to have an EpiPen on standby just in case. I've never had an issue with it before, but just in case. And yeah, I'm thinking of getting that scorpion. He's going to go in the top right hand side of the ant corner. I've got a nice tank ready for him. So that's going to be another bioactive build going up soon. And yeah, probably going to be a scorpion. Ants is my first and only hobby. Only hobby. Wow. Okay, fair enough. Essex massive. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, some people, I suppose, very hard. Yeah. I suppose not everyone's got other hobbies. I thought most people did. I don't think I could do ants all day, every day. It would drive me nuts because I just worry too much. Where, oh, Big Ross. I'm actually from Dorset. So the Ants on the Rock YouTube channel has come up a few times in the past, is based on the little island of Portland in the bottom of Dorset. So it's like, it's quite famous from all the quarries that we have, lots of Portland stone. The Portland stone gets quarried out and taken all around the world. I think the White House is made out of Portland stone and several other like important buildings and stuff like that. It's really quite famous stone. And we've got the Jurassic Coast as well, which is just like fossils and other stuff all over the place. So that's why they're called Ants on a Rock. But it does seem most of you are north compared to me, but then I am right in the south. So Bishop Auckland, I have no idea where Bishop Auckland is. South Shore, I have mountain bike, skiing, a classic car, model making. Wait, oh wow, that's really cool, Herd. Loads of stuff. Wakeboarding. Never done wakeboarding. A bit further. Everyone's a little bit further inland than me, Dean, because you're actually on the mainland. I'm like on a little detached rock in the middle of nowhere. Well, I used to box, but I haven't. Heard has no kids, so he has lots of time. Yeah, I've got three kids. The youngest one being a bit more challenging. So I don't have much time. This week they're going to be off from school, so it's going to be even more packed with trying to fit in work, trying to fit in gym, filming, recording, and messing with the kids. But I'll get it done. What else we got? Well, I used to box, but I hung up my gloves 2 years ago as I broke. Oh, that broke my hands too many times. So that kind of sucks. Ross, sorry. I mean, I know the perils of that. I think I've broken every knuckle. both wrists, my scaphoid bone, my shoulders, my ribs, my jaw, my nose, part of my eye socket. I've come out of things battered and bruised. So I absolutely know the feeling. If you're not feeling primed for it, then it's best not to get in the ring and get beaten up, isn't it? I get it now. I was curious when it. Okay, yeah, yeah. So I mean, I've been meaning to give up boxing for the last year, but I keep getting offered more and more fights, and I can't really say no because I'm mad and I love it. But I've also got I've got a boxing match in December. I've got Dorset Strongest Man in January, and Bristol Strongest Novice in March. And they're both strongman events, if you didn't know. Sort of thing that you see in like World Strongest Man, where they're lifting Atlas stones and deadlifting cars and that sort of thing. So that's the other sort of thing that I do. Don't ask about the other guys at the Nazi Smash. I don't know. That last fight, Dean, he definitely won. He outboxed me. It was a really really good fight, and I don't mind losing at all. I'm not a sore loser. Um, I don't mind losing as long as I perform well on the night, which I feel that I did that night. Whereas one of my previous fights, I really let myself down in the ring. I got in the ring, basically forgot everything I've ever been taught, and just I was a punching bag for all 3 rounds. So I was much happier with this loss. I got a broken nose from it, and that's about it. Bit sore, it was a brilliant fight. It's on my Facebook. If anyone is interested, you can look it up and find it on there. It was a great fight. The guy was a lot bigger and heavier than me, a little bit shorter but heavier, and it went all 3 rounds, and that's the main thing. I should do a Brazil. Right, so Brazilian Jiu Jitsu and stuff like that. I've looked into it in the past, but because of my I saw some of your fights weightlifting bits before. Thank you. Yeah, because of my bad shoulder, right? So I broke my left shoulder in a way that it's like snapped right across the socket joint. So if you were to pull on my arm, you could just pull it out. It's that easy. It just comes straight out. In fact, 18 seconds into my last fight, it popped out, and I just pushed it straight back in, and it was fine. But it's that easy to come out at the moment. It needs a big operation on it, which could actually put it out of action for like a year or so, which would suck. Um, so I've lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, so like rolling around on the floor, wrestling and stuff. All they'd have to do is hit me in the shoulder in the right way and just pop out. It'd be job done, fight over, I expect. Um, in fact, it's so easy that if I just push back on it now, it just pops it out. So it's not a great injury. To be honest, it's not a great one to be boxing with, but it is what it is. And yes, getting old does suck. Got a 6 second KO. It's on. That's impressive, folks. I've only. I'm not going to get into it. In fact, I'm not going to get into it on my live stream. I'll leave that for another day. But 6 second KO is very impressive. Don't tell them as well in case they watch. I'm so jealous of your hands, Tom. Yeah, thanks, Dean. This is one of my biggest and bestest colonies. As you know, this is a multi-species tank. Obviously, sorry about the rubbish quality. I will get a better camera soon, but it's going through the glass as well. I could reach it in and show you a little close-up if you like. Um, let's give that a little go. I've just got to unscrew it from the tripod. Right, that's about as close as I can get it, strictly because the wires don't reach. Pretty sucky actually. Right, right, let's have a look down this end. Can we see any crabs? Hey Ryan, cheers for joining, Antscapes. I can't see any crabs down there yet. But they normally start coming out about this time of night. They're all doing really, really well. Ants are smashing in these roaches. Weirdly as well, you notice all the ants on the cucumbers. They're absolutely loving cucumber now, which they never used to eat. So that's a new, well, fairly new thing that they started doing. I'm kind of hoping that the crabs come for a little wander and they just wander past the camera at some point, because they do. They walk all the way over here quite regularly, just having a little wander. They don't even look like they're like doing anything, not getting food or anything in particular. They just wander about. I am not surprised from selfie. Right, nearly back on. Right, there we go. A bit more awful footage to get over. Oh, my connection is unstable. What did the crabs eat? Well, that is an interesting question, Hood. The crabs are sort of scavengers, sort of predatory. So I've seen them hunt isopods before. There's been isopods around their little pond area, and I've seen Mr. Crabs, the original largest crab that I have, come up behind it and basically grab it and tear it in half and eat it. Most of the time, though, they just tend to eat any algae, mosses, roots, just kind of general bits and bobs from around the tank. I don't actually need to put food in for them. They just kind of eat whatever. Thank you, Ross. That's exactly the word I was looking for. Organic matter. Yeah, they eat lots of organic matter. I don't actually need to put in food for them. Although they do really like waxworms as well. If you cut up a half of them, because they're a little bit scatty and whatnot, they'll hide and crawl under the water, like stalking it, and then they just jump out of nowhere, grab it, and have a little munch, which is always really cool. I do love the crabs. They're one of my favourite features, even though they're a bit random and they don't really do a lot, but I do just love seeing them because when I do see them, it's all really random behaviours that are unexpected. Quite often, if I show you, they just sit there, like under that fern, for no reason at all. You'll just see one sat there, sometimes all day, which is really weird. Seeing them during the day is kind of completely unusual and shouldn't really happen, but they do, whatever. Um, been seeing a bit more of my bumblebee millipedes as well lately, which is quite cool because they're still small, but they were put in a tank as absolute juveniles, tiny little things, and now they're about half the size of what they will be when fully grown. So I don't know, I'm just loving my multi-species tank still because it's always got something cool going on. How's the nest doing? Any more building? Yeah, right. So if I point it up, you can see they've got the main bulk nest there in the centre, and then on the side in the elephant fern, they have got the other nest as well. Um, just behind the fern to the other side, not where elephant fern is, but to the other side, the actual ferny fern, is the original nest site where they were behind a chunk of wood. So they've moved back into that. They've kicked off all the beetles. They've built all around that. So now they've got one, two, three quite large sections. Um, I'm just reading your comment. He's got three quite large sections that they're living in and moving between regularly. I have a feeling that they're wanting to build another satellite nest. Ferny fern, exactly, the ferny fern. Thank you, Ants England. That's the words I needed. Um, I'm having a feeling that they want to build another satellite nest, so I might end up cutting back a load of the ferns, sticking another chunk of wood like this rooty piece that I put in the middle here. It just creates that bit more space that they can use. I don't think they want to abandon their nest. Um, I think they were just looking for somewhere to build a satellite nest. For anyone that isn't part of my Discord, you probably don't know yet. So yesterday, whilst I wasn't at home, I got a phone call from the wife saying the Polyrhacus dives are getting out. There's about 1,000 out on top of the tank. Ah, was basically the message. Um, Trim the ferns for the crab. Yeah, I mean the ferns don't actually bother the crabs. The crabs quite enjoy going into the deep foliage. I think they feel a bit safer. What was I saying? So yeah, I got a phone call from the wife. Ants were getting out. By the time I got back, like an hour and a half later after rushing back, she'd pretty much sorted it. There was some plastic pots on top of the tank with ants in them, but most of them she had managed to get back into the tank um, without any massive issues, really. The only real thing was, like I said, there must have been jokes are flying straight over. I'm ignoring some of your jokes, guys. um, yeah, the only thing is basically I could stop them from getting out really easily. There's a wire for the pump in the pond, which is basically their escape route. I leave it like that so that if they want to leave, they can. But the room that they live inside, like I keep them in a room basically. The room is kept at about 15 to 16 degrees, which is quite cold for Polyrhacus dives and bullet ants, which also share this room as well. But the tanks are heated. So the tanks are warm, then they leave the tank and they're like, oh my god, it's cold. So they stay on top of the tank. They don't tend to venture very far. And if they do, they usually go pretty much straight back. So it's an indication to me that something in the tank has gone wrong and they want to move out. Because why else would they move out? Because it's perfect conditions. They get fed. They know where they get fed. They get constant food. They've got everything they could possibly want or need in this tank in perfect conditions. It's monitored all the time to make sure these conditions don't change. So if they are leaving, it's usually for a good reason. Right, Ants England, that's a really good point that I keep forgetting to mention. I am planning on extending this tank in height. I've spoken to someone about putting an extra foot, maybe 2 feet of glass as another, basically, like I say, just an extension on top of the tank, just to give it all a bit more height. Um, it will allow the ferns to grow out a bit more, the blackberry bushes to grow a bit more. It will give the stick insects more room to get away from the predators, because I think it will get to the point where they will get hunted eventually. There's now ants and isopods on all the ferns all the times because there's so many of them and it's just expanded out. So yeah, I do have plans to extend this tank. I also, depending on when and where and how I move, I also have plans to, like I did with the smaller tank into this one, this tank will go into a much, much, much larger tank. I'm thinking like 2, 3 meters in every direction. Stick this tank inside of it, and then me and a couple of other guys will literally take away the glass panels, leaving this tank built within the other tank so that it's less disruption for the ants whilst we move. Would you do any kind of floating style arenas for more nest space? Yeah, see, that's what I mean about adding in the um, 14. That's what I mean about adding in the more like wood, rooty, whatever bits like I've done there. Because where there are boreal, it's no good putting them on the ground. So obviously anything up in the air is going to be much more suitable for them. Um, Proper English and all that. Yeah, you don't get much proper English from me, Antscapes. I got a farmer's accent mixed with me, I suppose. Um, Apparently, I don't say chocolate right either. Chocolate, chocolate, it's chocolate, isn't it? It's chocolate. But anyways, um, so yeah, there is plans to extend this tank. I remember where I was. So, anyways, yesterday with them escaping, basically, before I went out, I topped up the pond like I do every now and then when it's getting a little bit low. Um, I then left, and the pump must have blocked. So the pump normally sucks the water out of that back section and pumps it into the front section that's viewable to the camera. It's higher level, and meaning the back section it sits at about an inch of water, which means that the pump doesn't have a filter section on either. It's been taken off so that it can draw from this very small inch of water. Um, that didn't drain away, which meant that the water sat in the back section. It then drained into the drainage layer, which soaked up through into the substrate because there was too much water in the drainage layer, and it basically flooded the nest, which isn't an issue because they just moved out. I mean, my ants, they walked strictly because the nest area was too wet for them. I've let it dry out a little bit, as you can see, and they all moved straight back in. It's not really an issue, but that's, like I say, that's the reason I've left that wire hanging out so that I can see if there's an issue with the tank because they just want to move. Okay, right, so here's one thing about the tank, which I am going to bring up as well. Because it's heated, because it's humid, and its lights might be a part of the issue, flies this year have been ridiculous. Now, we always get flies every year in the summer. Everyone does. But I have a feeling that they're not going to die like they normally would in the winter because they're just living on top of the tank. So, has anyone else experienced problems with flies? Not just around this tank either. They actually anywhere there's a heat pad, they they seem to stick around. They're probably laying eggs and maggots over. I don't know, but they just seem to be hanging around later in the year than usual, and it's doing my head in. Are you planning to upgrade the tank, or will you make some improvements with the nets? Yeah, right. So, like I said, I am planning on building more height to this tank, and eventually the whole thing will be moved into a much, much larger enclosure. Um, I'll answer that in a second. So much larger enclosure. Apart from that, I'm not really going to be changing it much. There's not a lot that I can change at the minute. I can add in more nesting sites, but I'll have to clear space to do that. You know, it's pretty packed in there at the minute. I can't do an awful lot to the tank. Not just that, I wouldn't want to upset any of the balance going on because it's all very well balanced, you know. All the leftovers from the ants get eaten by everything else, and so on and so forth. It's all pretty well balanced. I don't want to upset any of the ecosystem, and everything's got its own little home and hiding place at the minute, if you know what I mean. Right, next. Ants England, you've never had flies. Well, you are the luckiest person on earth. Like, I don't know what it is. This year has been particularly bad for them. They've just been everywhere. Um, Do I get a lot of fruit flies? They are not good food for the ants. Are they not good food for the ants? But I don't really get many fruit flies or gnats so much. I keep flightless fruit flies to feed to my colonies, um, but I don't really get many issues from them, especially in this tank. In fact, I've seen flies, like normal flies, house flies, be hunted in this tank. I wouldn't want to be any kind of insect living in this tank which isn't used to the environment. Obviously, everything that lives in there is suitable to the environment. The beetles can survive there. The millipedes are suited to the hot, humid environment. Everything, or even sticking something different in there, like flies from the UK, it's just not going to survive. We've had some spiders in there, UK spiders, which I didn't put in. They've managed to just work their way into the tank. There is holes at the top, so it's not fully secure. I don't like to fully secure down any of my pets because if they want to escape because there's an issue, I will ant keeper, pet keeper, whatever it is. It's my fault at the end of the day if something's going wrong, and I need to know before it causes them issues. Um, I can't deal with insects. If you told me 6 years ago I'd keep ants, breed my own roaches, I'd say no way, you can't stand spiders. Yeah, fair, fair. I think most people have that sort of initial fear of creepy crawlies. I mean, I've got so many different insects now, I don't even think about it. But I know, like, it's that, it's that thing we're all born with, isn't it? Like, you see something creepy crawly, and you instantly think of dirtiness and disgusting, and they could be carrying diseases and all of that. And that's all the sort of stuff that gets taught to us young in life. But I don't think a lot of it's true anymore. Like I know some insects and animals obviously aren't clean compared to others, but yeah, handling roaches, yes, I wash my hands before and after, but I expect they're not carrying any diseases. Like, there you go. Yeah, Dean, you've got loads of stuff. It's once you get into it and once you get past that initial fear, you hold your first roach. You get over it fairly fast. Fairly fast. There's so many ants down here at the minute. I'm really sorry that you can't see it a bit better. It's probably a good couple of hundred ants eating those three roaches. I was fine as a kid, as we always had Yeah, maggots. Maggots are small, wiggly, horrible things that most people won't like, but like that, you get used to it. You get used to putting them on your hook. I do like my fishing as well. That's another one of my hobbies that I don't get out to do enough. They're not evil. They just somehow get all over your face or zip past your ears. Yeah, crane flies do that, or they just kind of hover about, don't they? I'm going to give it another few minutes and then I'm going to have to end this live stream because I'm going to have to get my youngest kid to bed, I'm afraid, everyone. But again, thank you all for joining this live stream. Next Sunday, 9 o'clock, same time again. You'll probably actually get me doing it face to face to the camera next time, unless something really cool's happening in the tanks. Obviously, I've said it a million times, I'll say it again. Feel free to join my Patreon. There's links all over the place, probably in the description here. Basically, all money I'm getting from my Patreon is going to go towards a new webcam so that these streams are going to be a bit better. After that, I want to get a new microphone. And any other monies past that will go towards the channel in one way or another. You hold magnets. Yeah, that's exactly it. You hold the magnets under your tongue to warm them up. You can feel them wiggling and whatnot. I've swallowed quite a few, but they're not harmful, are they? I mean, they might be slightly dirty, but they're only as dirty as everything that they're touching. And if you keep them like I do in a pretty good environment, then they shouldn't be breeding diseases. Standing around and cod mouths don't move. Nice and warm, yeah. Oh, and for anyone who keeps asking, my chest is getting much better now. As you may have noticed, I'm able to talk. I can rant without getting out of breath. So it's almost back to full strength. Give it another couple of weeks, and I expect I'll be falling apart again. The general cycle with my health is I'll get a chest infection, take 2 weeks to clear it, give it about another 2 or 3 weeks, and I'll get another one, fall apart, and yeah, it's just a matter of trying to keep on top of it with my health conditions. A bit of protein, yeah. Maggots are a bit of protein, not the best protein. I'd rather have steak. Right, so here is one last subject that I'm going to bring up before we end the stream. It's been mentioned to me a few times, and I'd love to see how you guys feel about it. Ant keepers, such as myself, or pet keepers, could be anyone, any pet that loves their pets. Thank you, Ants England. Yeah. So yeah, anyone that loves their pets, do we have to give up eating meat? Because it's been brought up to my attention a few times that yes, I love and I care for my animals, my insects. I would do almost anything to stop them from coming into harm. But then, am I ethically correct to do that and then go and eat a steak, which has been from a cow which has been slaughtered? In my opinion, I think I'm fine. Hell no way. There you go. I think I'm fine because the difference to me is you can have a cow that you're gonna raise and take to slaughter and eat from, or you can have a cow that you're gonna put a hat on and call Daisy. Now I'm not gonna eat Daisy, but I might well eat the cow that's been designed and designated as meat. Is that wrong? Or, it's a very touchy subject, and I've got nothing against vegetarians or vegans. I completely understand why they do it, and in fact, I support why they do it. But I'm not going to do it myself because I like meat. There you go, Dean. You gave it up 3 weeks ago. Was that because of the ethics behind the killing? Was that just personal preference? Give us a little insight, buddy. So, I've had several people say to me that I should give up eating meat because I can't care for my animals. I can't show how I care for my animals if I'm there going and off and eating meat. But I think they're completely different things. Like you wouldn't eat your pets, but you would, keep other animals. As a farmer, you would keep animals to send to slaughter, but then you would have your pets. It's two completely different things. It's a really hard subject to cover, I think, strictly because everyone's so strongly viewed on it. I know a lot of my friends are very, very strongly viewed. There you go. Pets are different to livestock, but then at what point does it cross over? Because if we're talking strictly ants, there's honeypot ants in some countries are used as little sugar stores, aren't they? Like tribes people eat ants. Are they okay to eat ants? I suppose that's more the subsistence thing, so that's like irrelevant completely, I suppose. But I think it's a bit of a touchy subject. It's been brought up to my attention a few times, and I've always said pets are different to the animals I'm going to eat. I wouldn't want to be eating animals which aren't ethnically killed. I'd rather have the best of the best and get them well looked after and well cared for meat. But it is what it is. I mean, it's been this way since humans weren't even humans, we've been eating meat. So again, I'm not going to get into a debate on whether it's right to be vegetarian or vegan. I'd like to know what all of you think about keeping so many insects and dedicating a good majority of my life to these insects, these creatures, these invertebrates, my crabs, whatever you want to class them as, and then going out and eating meat. And what's your views on it? So I'm just going to mute the microphone for 5 minutes, let you send me some messages, and then we're going to end the stream after that. Right, well, thank you everyone for joining me on this live stream. This is the first proper episode of the Picnic Table Ant Chat. Obviously, I don't want to see animals hurt either way. Yeah, that's exactly it. I don't want to see animals getting hurt, but if it's done correctly, I'm definitely still going to eat the meat. So, anyways, like I say, thank you all for joining me. It's been absolutely awesome speaking to you all. I will be on Discord during the night, and obviously the rest of the week. So feel free to join me on Discord. Feel free to join that Patreon thing and support my YouTube channel that way. Wait and look forward for my video on Wednesday, and I shall see you all another time. So, as always from me, see you again, Ant fans. End of stream.